biggest scandal of the last many years is the AutoPen. And who's using it? I happen to think I know, okay, because I'm here. And I'm not a big AutoPen person, fortunately. I'm glad. I'm very glad. It's an easy way out.
Well, what is this all about? Always something comes up. Hi, Rich Cole. Rich is talking. Apparently there's some scandal now on how Biden handled these pardons. Here was the first announcement when he did it.
President Biden has issued a raft of pardons and sentence commutations, the biggest single-day act of clemency in modern US history. 1,500 people saw their sentences downgraded. Nearly 40 non-violent criminals had theirs written off. The decision to grant mass clemency follows a backlash over the pardon the outgoing president gave to his son Hunter for gun and tax offences.
So this raises two questions. One is it legal using an AutoPen for pardons? The other question is, what were his cognizant abilities like? Being able to make decisions on commuting or pardoning sentences for 4,000 people? This man couldn't find his way off the stage. Remember that? And he couldn't talk during a debate. We never saw him. He never gave interviews. He was afraid to talk to anyone. But they tell us he was able to make decisions on thousands of these things. So he then decided to prove it by calling the New York Times. He hadn't spoken to anybody except his appearance on The View, which wasn't very good. And now he called the New York Times to explain.
In that interview, he assured the New York Times he knew and approved every pardon or act of clemency throughout his presidency, especially at the end. Now, the fact of the matter is he almost certainly did not know about everyone. It would have been almost impossible because at the end of his presidency, Biden preemptively pardoned his son, Dr. Anthony Fauci, Liz Cheney, his brothers and sisters. He probably knew about those. But he also offered clemency to over 4,000 people, including a judge that took kickbacks to send kids to reform school and some other truly awful individuals. With us now, George Will, News Nation's senior political contributor, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist. You have been in Washington far longer than I am. Neither of us believe in coincidences. Why call the New York Times about this one issue now?
Why did he take care to personally sign one of these? And that was Hunter Biden's. Did he have some doubt as to whether there was legal ambiguity about whether he can outsource this to a machine?
So Trump has issued a statement on his Truth Social that Biden's pardons are invalid and have no force or effect. I seriously doubt he can do that. I've researched it a bit, and AutoPens have been used by presidents, it says here, for decades for a variety of reasons, usually just signing correspondence and documents. I tried to find out if they've been used for pardons. It'll say generally they've been used for pardons and other documents. But then when I ask specifically for them to name pardons done by presidents, it can't come up with any. So there's a good chance this is the first time pardons have been issued by a president using the AutoPen. The Justice Department formally concluded that using an AutoPen for presidential signatures is permissible as long as the president has approved the action. Well, that's the question. Did he approve the action? You know, they're having hearings now in Congress trying to get aides in for Biden to testify about them hiding his cognizant abilities and was he able to make decisions on a day-to-day basis. And most of them are pleading the fifth, so we're not learning much on that. It's a shame because they lied. All of these Democrats lied. They just lied, either by coming out and making lies about his abilities or staying silent, which a lot of the press did. But to me, one of the worst of the liars is Christopher Coons, senator from Delaware. I saw him numerous times on television saying, "Oh, the president is sharp as can be. We were meeting with him late into the evening, and he had us all on our toes, asking one question after another for every one of us. He's amazing. There's nothing wrong with him." This was a lot of baloney and a lie. I got sick of hearing that. He should be apologizing, and maybe he should be criminally charged with something. So then I decided to look into the history of the AutoPen and found out it was President Thomas Jefferson who first used it.
My name is Charles Morrill, and I'm a guide here at Monticello. The polygraph was invented by two people, an Englishman, John Isaac Hawkins, and Charles Wilson Peale. Peale is many things. He's a museum keeper, he's a painter, but he is also really interested in contributing to technology. This wonderful machine consists of two pens and is connected by a system of levers and all sorts of springs and joints. And when you dip one pen in one inkwell, the second pen will follow along and dip in its own inkwell. The polygraph was pushing technology to the absolute limit in 1802 and 1803, and for the rest of that decade. It was nearly impossible to make it work correctly. It finally did. I think it's just a spectacular piece of engineering for its time. Anyway, Jefferson falls in love with this machine, a device to duplicate letters. Just the thing if you're carrying on multiple conversations with different people all over the world. You want to keep a copy of a letter to catch yourself up, to see what you had written, to cause a response. Another reason is it's just wonderful for, say, a politician, because if something gets in the papers, you can say, well, what I really said was, and for a whole host of other reasons. He was always waiting for the latest one, much the way people might wait for the latest iPhone or computer today. I've been able to document 10 machines that he owned over the years. This man absolutely loved the new thing. Kids are taught in school, of course, and this is right. The Jeffersonian democracy is based on agriculture. He imagined a nation of yeoman farmers, but he was always looking at the very latest mechanical new thing. And the polygraph certainly fit that bill, and he was always suggesting improvements to it. In many ways, I think of it as the hobby of his presidency. He was really interested in it.
I think that's fascinating. Jefferson was actually before his time, the way he looked at things. He liked new technology, that's what it was at that time. So if you're wondering what today's AutoPen looks like, as they pointed out, Jefferson called it a polygraph, which now that term is used for. Those are used for lie detector tests. So if you want to see what the current AutoPen looks like, I thought I'd show you here.
Have you ever heard of an AutoPen? I personally had not, but now I have. It's what you're looking at on your screen right now. A pretty ordinary piece of machinery, but now at the center of what some people worry could be the first real, we're going to call it constitutional crisis. That's what some are saying. AutoPens, if you don't know, and again, I didn't, these are apparently used by celebrities and politicians who have to sign a whole lot of things very quickly, autographs, documents, you name it. So they're not a new technology, but this controversy, this potential constitutional crisis, to use that term again, it's new. But then yesterday, President Trump took to Truth Social and said, these pardons are hereby declared void, vacant, and of no further force or effect because of the fact that they were done by this new word, AutoPen. In other words, Joe Biden did not sign them, but more importantly, he did not know anything about them.
Can you all sit down, please? Thank you all so much.
This is not an AutoPen, by the way.
Well, I think that's all on that subject. It'll probably go away pretty soon because I don't think they can do anything about it. But unless they can prove that he had no idea what was going on. So anyway, that's all for now. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate it. Bye.